friends, and welcome to Gamecock Central Radio. Emerson Phillips with Gamecock great Joe Rhett talking Gamecock basketball today. South Carolina getting set for a battle of unbeatens in the SEC. Gamecocks traveling to LSU to take on the Tigers. Gamecocks 9-7 overall, 4-0 in SEC play. LSU 13-3 overall and 3-0 in the conference. And Joe, the Gamecocks coming off a comeback win, another one, this time against Vanderbilt on Wednesday night of this week. And, Joe, it was just like the Florida game to open SEC play. Carolina trailed throughout the ball game. They were down 12 points in the second half and rallied late to win. And after the game, Frank Martin said, I've liked this team since day one. They've got a lot of resolve.
Exactly. This is one resilient team. No matter how many points they get down, whether they're on the road or at home, they tend to stay in the game. So with this young team, the young backcourt, again, that I keep mentioning, with A.J. Lawson and Keyshawn Bryant, those are guys that are really growing up right before our eyes, and they are really stepping up. And the quiet one, the sleepers this year so far, is Felipe Haase. He has been playing tremendously well in his role when coming off the bench or whenever Chris or Mike Kosar get in foul trouble. So this team is coming fairly along really well, and I'm very impressed from where they're started off to where they are right now.
Gamecocks got 24 points from freshman A.J. Lawson. Hassani Gravett with 17 points off the bench, all of those coming in the second half. And freshman Keyshawn Bryant with 13 points. And Joe mentioned Felipe Haase, who had 9 points in the ball game, including a clutch three that tied the ball game with about 6:40 to play. The Gamecocks led for less than 2 minutes in this ball game, and they never led by more than two until the final seconds of the ball game. Carolina beat Vandy 74-71 in Nashville on Wednesday night. So Vandy's now 9-4 overall. They're 0-4 in the league, and the Gamecocks 9-7, 4-0 in the conference for just the third time ever, Joe. And coming into the season, Joe, we thought that it was going to be Chris Silva and Mike Kosar, the two offensive leaders of this ball club. Silva got into foul trouble again. He only played 13 minutes. He had a season low 2 points, and the Gamecocks didn't get much from Mike Kosar either. But Carolina still finds a way to win thanks to big nights from the freshman Lawson and senior Hassani Gravett, Keyshawn Bryant, another freshman with 13 points. So it was not Silva and Kosar that won this game on Wednesday night.
Not at all. And if you told me that a couple of weeks ago that they would win the game with those two guys only shooting, I think, only 4 times between the two of them, I wouldn't have not believed it. But it tells you the confidence that this coaching staff has in this team and the confidence that these players are playing with. They're getting open shots. They're even when a couple shots are not made, they're still staying with the game plan and taking these open shots, and eventually they'll start falling. A lot of times you see Keyshawn Bryant, he can be erratic sometimes, but he's a tremendous athlete, and he can get to the basket. He can get shots off when he wants. And once the game settles down for him and he realizes he don't have to go 100 miles per hour, he's going to be a great player for this basketball team. And it's just great to see how all of this is coming to fruition, because honestly, this team hasn't played well together. It's different players stepping up in different games, but if this team could somehow everybody could play together, this team can really, make some noise. So, and especially as we're getting a tougher conference play, we're going to need those guys. We got away with it so far, but we're really definitely going to need Mike Kosar and Chris Silva to step up more as we get deeper into league play.
The Gamecocks shot 27 of 35 at the foul line, and they were 12 for 12 at the stripe over the final 3 minutes and 17 seconds of the game. Hassani Gravett hit 2 late to give Carolina the 3-point margin. Carolina outscored Vanderbilt bench scoring 28-12. That's been a recurring theme this year, Joe, especially in conference play. The Gamecock bench has outscored every opponent in conference so far this year.
That's the thing that's been helping them out. Free throws, and also bench scoring. Every game so far, Gravett and Felipe Haase has been playing extremely well. And you got the Fink kid coming in. He's going to be an asset to this team. He just has to get a little more acclimated to the system. And, if we can continue to get those baskets and scoring and quality minutes off the bench, that is always a plus. I don't care if you in middle school, high school, or college, or an NBA. You out, rebounding and your bench is coming in scoring, you're always going to give yourself a chance to win in the league.
So the Gamecocks are 4-0 in conference play for just the third time ever. The first 2 times they did it, Joe, the first time was 1997. The Gamecocks won the SEC championship, went 15-1 in the league that year. And they did it again in 2017, the year that Sendarius Thornwell led the Gamecocks to the Final Four. So Carolina 4-0 in the league for just the fourth time ever, and headed to LSU for a 6 o'clock start Saturday. This game at the Maravich Center in Baton Rouge. LSU is legit, Joe. They're 13-3 overall. They are 3-0 in the conference. Conference wins over Alabama at home, and then a pair of road wins at Arkansas and this week at 18th-ranked Ole Miss. LSU is 9-0 at home, and they're 9-point favorites over the Gamecocks. 6 o'clock tonight on the SEC Network. Kevin Fitzgerald and Dane Bradshaw on the call for the SEC Network. Joe, in this LSU game earlier this week, a road trip for LSU, the game was tied at 31 at halftime, and then LSU scored 52 points in the second half.
When you talk about LSU and Ole Miss and South Carolina, these are three of the teams that wasn't really picked highly in the league, and now all three of these teams are doing well. So LSU coming off a really, really good win against Ole Miss at Ole Miss is always another tough road place to play. And look out for this kid, Tremont Waters. He's one of the leading guards in the SEC, but probably one of the top guards in the whole nation. He's a guy I think that kind of threw his name in the hat last year, who will be playing on the next level one of these days, maybe next year, maybe this is last year, but he's a really good point guard who's very athletic. He gets everybody involved. I think he's averaging about 14 points and about 6.2 assists. So there's a guy to look out for. He had a really good freshman year, and now his sophomore year. He's the ringleader and the head of this team. That's why this team is playing so well. So, again, this LSU team is probably one of the most athletic teams out there, especially in the SEC. So it's going to be a tough battle for us tonight. We have to go in there with the same resolve that we've been in many games, but we're going to have to somehow not get down. Again, we're playing much better competition now, and LSU is one of the toughest places to play as well. So we have to just hang in there and withstand some of those runs, because teams at home are going to make their runs. So we can, eliminate some of the mistakes and not get down as much as 12 or 14 points as we have done in the past. I think we'll have a good chance tonight.
Tremont Waters, a 5'11 sophomore for LSU, coming off a 20-point effort in the win at 18th-ranked Ole Miss. And the Rebels had won 10 straight ball games going into that contest with LSU. And, again, the Tigers scored 52 in the second half. They got 14 points, 10 boards, and 5 blocks from their 6'11 big man, Cavell Bigby Williams. And it was 14 points for Skylar Mays. So, Joe, a huge test for the Gamecocks tonight. It's a Saturday night game. It's going to be a big crowd at LSU's Maravich Center. They got to be excited to be undefeated in the league. Just 3 unbeaten teams in the SEC right now. Tennessee, which is ranked third in the country, 4-0. Gamecocks 4-0. And LSU 3-0. And a critical stretch of games here for South Carolina, Joe, with LSU tonight on the road. Third road game so far this year for the Gamecocks in conference play. And then the Gamecocks return home to take on 14th-ranked Auburn. That'll be a 6:30 start Tuesday night on the SEC Network. That'll be at the CLA.
Well, the game plan is not going to change. The key for us tonight is to Chris Silva and those guys. They're going to have their hands full tonight playing against those bigs and those athletic bigs, just as athletic as Chris Silva and those guys are. So they're going to have to stay out of foul trouble, and he has to realize that we need him on the floor for at least 30-something minutes, not the 15, 20 minutes when he gets in foul trouble. So we just need to maintain, and I think we're okay with the guard, because Tremont Waters, as we spoke of, he's a really, really good guard, but A.J. Lawson is actually stepping up on his defense. He's a long, rangy guy that if he can stay in front of the Waters kid, he can present a little bit of problem, and you never know what won the game the other night. Frank switched it up on us. He went to his zone, and that made the big difference in that game the other night against Vanderbilt by switching his zone. So we may see a little bit more zone. We may see some man. So if we could just, again, stick to the game plan, is those big guys staying on the floor and being a part of the system that Frank wants us to play on the season.
All right, LSU opened a 10.5-point favorite. The line is now down to 9. And it's a 6 o'clock start tonight on the SEC Network for South Carolina and LSU. Joe Rhett, good report today. We appreciate you, my man.
Anytime, Emerson. Appreciate you.
All right, that's Joe Rhett, Gamecock Great, and I'm Emerson Phillips. This is Gamecock Central Radio. We'll come back next week. We'll recap the LSU game, and we will preview the Gamecocks matchup with 14th-ranked Auburn. Again, that's a Tuesday night game at the Colonial Life Arena. Thanks for being with us.